being, there we go. Now you guys can hear me a little bit better. There we go. Can the audio work now? Can you guys hear me? Perfect. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me now. Sorry about that. Let me start again here. My name is Tristan Barrocks, the digital storyteller, and this is a live stream Mondays, which is something I love to do. I love to do live streaming every single Monday evening, and I love to answer questions, not just any questions, but questions that were curated and directed to me from you guys. That's the digital storytellers community, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different questions that have been submitted throughout the day today. And one of the things that I really wanted to kind of say to each and every one of you guys is thank you so much for just being a part of this community, for being so loyal and being able to really be flexible with all of the different technical difficulties, but not only just technical difficulties, but the ebbs and the flows of me really trying to create this platform for you. This community is about building people up, building each other up, and building creatives up, and allowing them to feel inspired to do things that they always want to do, that they always dreamt of doing, whether it's creating a film or, putting out your first gallery showcase or collaborating with somebody that you always want to collaborate with. That's my passion. My passion is to really inspire people using digital storytelling and really inspire people to share their stories using the tools that they have. So that being said, I would like to, oh, hey, what's up? We got family from Germany. What's going on? How you doing? Special Sepia Productions or Pictures says hi from Germany. What's up from Germany? Well, I shouldn't say what's up from Germany. I should say what's up from Toronto. But that being said, I just want to actually introduce my amazing, talented homeboy, brother from another mother, O'Shane Howard. Give it up for O'Shane Howard. What's up, O'Shane? You got to look. O'Shane's busy doing client work right now, so he's like he's straight up like, listen, I love y'all, but I got to do what I do. You feel what I'm saying? But O'Shane, tell us a little bit about what you do. I'm flipping it right back to you. Just look right. What do you do, O'Shane?
I'm a freelance photographer, videographer, and creative director. So I focus on shooting commercial work, editorial work, and product, mainly focused around fashion, lifestyle brands, magazines, just anything that's within that realm. That's what I specialize in.
Okay. So you're saying you are just like a creative being, but what's the one thing that you're really passionate about?
I'm super passionate about telling stories while
Okay.
also solving problems. I like to really dive deep into what my clients are having a hard time portraying to their audience. So I always like to sit down and just really take a deep dive on why they started their business, what is the message that you're trying to get across to your audience, and just really build through that. So I've always enjoyed helping people just coming from a background where I used to play a lot of sports. So I like to work as a team. So working as a team with my clients and working as a team with my teammates as well.
All right. So we're just getting a little bit of feedback. Just give us a little bit more vocals there because your voice is a little bit hard to hear.
Rephrase the whole thing, or?
No. Switch over. Keep on talking now. How's the audio there?
Is it good?
Can you guys hear it a lot better?
You hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I think we can hear you a lot better. So, O'Shane, if you could just introduce yourself one more time, and just so we can get a better context. Sorry, the audio was a little off there.
So, my name is O'Shane Howard. I'm a freelance photographer, videographer, and creative director. I specialize in commercial work, product work, and editorial work, mainly around shooting fashion brands, lifestyle brands, magazines, anything within that realm. That's what I specialize in.
Okay, so anything within that realm, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So I guess my question to you is, as a creative, what what are some of the things that drive you and motivate you and inspire you?
Um, I would definitely say storytelling, working with other people within their creative space, whether it is other people that are working with me or just working with my clients. I'm a team player. I like solving problems, and I just really like hearing people's stories as to why they created that product that they created or that brand they created, and just really taking a deep dive and just working with them to get to the final end goal as to what they're trying to portray. I like
Okay.
the whole process.
That whole process, yeah, it's crazy. You know, one of the things that inspires me about your work is the fact that, sorry, just jumped up. One of the things that really inspires me about your work, O'Shane, is the fact that you are so intentional about being creative, but being creative in a very specific, calculated, motivated way. Where does that sort of inspiration come from with regards to, you know, your how meticulous you are about your work? How did you become that way?
To be honest with you, I think it became that way working with other creatives as well.
Mm.
When you first start out in the creative space, your pot is basically empty.
I like that, the pot being empty.
Yeah, and then as time goes by, you start working with other people. You start adding more things to the pot, right? And as the pot gets bigger and bigger, and then after you stir it all up, you create something of your own because you work with so many different people because you're still trying to find yourself. So I guess for me, I've learned to take a little bit of something from everybody that I've interacted with and just mold into something of my own.
That's good. No, that's really good. What's one of the projects that you maybe want to plug or you want to share with the people?
A project that I worked on last summer called, well, two projects, Praise and Worship and Drum Ball.
Okay. Yeah, Praise and Worship, Drum Ball. Praise and Worship's coming out. I was doing the cinematography, storytelling on that end, and then O'Shane was the creative director, kind of the catalyst of the idea, and I can't wait to share that with you. But Jump Ball, I mean, he just kind of mentioned it like Jump Ball was just a little thing, but Jump Ball really jumped off. It popped off quite a bit. Who were some of the people that you worked with?
So my good friend Joseph Adamu, he's the founder and creative director for Sunday School. They focus on telling stories of people of color. He basically planned that whole entire concept within 5 months, and then he had reached out to me to be the lead photographer for it. So essentially, that project was focused on telling stories of different Africans. So whether you're Nigerian, Ghanaian, you're from Senegal, or Ethiopia, and that's basically dressing up in their cultural clothing, and then having a basketball in their hand or at the ball court. And the reason being was because Joseph loves basketball, he loves fashion, so he just merge both worlds together, and that's essentially how the whole entire project came about.
Okay, so and then from there, I mean, it went to Vogue. It went worldwide, right?
Yeah, it went like, to be honest with you, I knew the concept was good, but I didn't know it was gonna like blow up like that. It literally took over the gram. It was kind of overwhelming, but it was pretty cool to really see when you tell stories that people can relate to, that people can see themselves in, stories that they can relate to as well. It really it becomes something that's more than just being cool. It's something that they can resonate with. It's something that they feel emotionally. And I feel like when you're doing a project, it's all about tapping in to someone's emotions versus them saying, okay, yeah, that's just cool, just keeping it moving, right? So it was fun.
Okay. I'm liking this. So guys, for you out there, just quick heads up. How does the audio sound? Is it sounding better? We want to make sure we fine tune it before we jump into the questions of the day. Just give me a big thumbs up or let me know how I sound. If I sound okay, some people are saying that it's coming off a little echoey. We want to make sure that you guys can hear us so you can enjoy the rest of the show. Let me know. That being said, I want to jump to the first sort of things, a little bit of housekeeping elements of the day. So first things first, like always, when you have a chance, if you have a chance, hit me up or send me your questions via. Give me a second here. Hit me up and send me your questions via tristanbarrocks.ca/questions. That's tristanbarrocks.ca/questions. And that will allow you to ask any questions that you have for me. With regards to this particular way, you do have to drop your email address and your name just so that I know who you are and you can stay connected with us. But it's a way for me and my team to stay connected with you so that you feel connected with us and we can actually serve you better. That being said, I'm just going to jump to the next thing here, which was these are some of the photos. These are some of the photos from our photo walk yesterday. That happened yesterday. So we had our first photo walk of 2020. It's kind of crazy how 2020 is kind of come and gone and it's going so quickly. But these were just two of the tester shots that we did, or the teaser shots that I did for yesterday afternoon's photo shoot. Now, with a photo walk, for those of you that don't know what a photo walk is, let me jump back here. For those of you that don't know what a photo walk is, essentially what it is it's a whole bunch of creatives that come together and decide, hey, we're going to have a model, or we're going to go to a specific location. We're going to take photos or video. And we're just going to be as creative as possible. So when I'm showing you these photos are of Stephanie, and Stephanie is not a professional model at all. But she was just like, listen, Tristan, I want to help you out. I know you're looking for a model and you're doing this photo walk, and I want to get some photos of myself. Just doing my thing for the gram. You know how everybody wants to have photos of themselves for the gram. So that's what we did. We took some photos of her. This is all shot on the Sony A7 Mark III with the Canon 50 mil. Let me see if I can find it here. The 50-1.4. I'm just going to bring it back over here. So this is the lens that I was using. The Canon 50-1.4, and it had the MC11 adapter. So MC11 adapter is basically an adapter that you would use as a Sigma adapter, and you use this adapter to connect your Canon lenses to your Sony body. And I've been using that for a while, but I haven't used. Let me get back in focus here. Perfect. I have not used this lens in a long time, and I was really surprised with just how everything rendered and how all the background specifically looked. I really like how sort of, if you can see sort of how can you put up the question website, please? Oh, perfect. Let me put up the question websites one more time so then you can see it one more time here. Jump over here. So it's tristanbarrocks.ca/questions. All right, you can write that down. I'll also put it in the chat so it's a little bit easier for you too as well. It's tristanbarrocks.ca/questions. There you go. But back to these photos here. The thing that I really was blown away about when it came to these photos were how it was just the rendering of the background. I was shooting in this particular picture, the first picture, where she's in front of this hedge. I was shooting in like 1.4, f-stop of 1.4, so it was wide open. And I was just so I was blown away by how sharp the lens was, how clear the image was, how she stood out from the backdrop. She was tacked in sharp, tack sharp. And then in this other shot, I think I was shooting at f 2.8 or so. And again, she's in focus. There was a lot of like the background on the brown hedges and this building were kind of distracting. So I was trying to angle it in a way where we could still see her, and your eyes always fell back to her face and to the way she was sitting on the bench. So again, the reason why I'm showing you guys all of these images, or these two images, is just to show you guys what you can do within the confines of just being creative, right? Having a creative space and having the opportunity to be with other creatives. I want to give a big shout out to Shirley. Shirley runs she runs the Black Canadian Content Creators network and channel and website, and she does an amazing job. She has a couple different podcasts. Shout out to Shirley. She came out and she was a part of the team that was taking photos and being a part of the creative photo video walk. And one of the things I really do admire about those that come out is that you don't have to be an expert photographer or cinematographer. It's just about being creative. It's about testing the waters, getting more comfortable behind the camera, getting more comfortable working with talent in front of the camera. One of the biggest things that we were all speaking about yesterday was this whole idea of it's just as important to know how to deal with the talent and the model as it is to understand what settings you have for your camera. Right? There's no point of, locking in your settings for your camera, but yet still you haven't really locked into connecting with that model or the talent that's in front of your camera. Because if you can't pull the best out of them, you're really never going to get the best shot. So that's something to really think about and to keep in mind. So, one other thing actually is that we are going to be coming to New Jersey, New York, and hopefully, fingers crossed, to Dallas this year. So look out for those dates, those photo walk dates, because I do want to be able to provide an experience for those that are in those amazing areas and cities. So kudos to you guys, and check that out. Keep following us. The other thing I want to let you guys know about is my Patreon page. Now, for those of you that don't know what Patreon is a website that allows you to simply support the creatives of your choice. So I'm just going to put this up in the middle here so you can see a little bit better. So it's www.patreon.com/Tristan Barrocks. You can see the different tiers that I provide with regards to digital mentorship. You can just be a supporter, which is great, which is $2 a month, $5 a month for a little bit more involved connection with me, where I answer a few of your questions per month, as well as provide you with some direction in terms of your career. And then for $10 a month, you can actually have digital mentorship, which actually allows you to have 20-minute sessions with me per month, as well as allowing you to get all of my digital content in terms of the digital products that I've created. So my LUTs, any of my documentations, my digital documentations, that's all for your disposal. So it's actually quite good when you're thinking about the value, if you are looking to get a little bit of mentorship, but you don't necessarily have a ton of money to invest. There's a little bit of money just to be able to allow you to get started and up and running. And then whenever you feel like you're ready, you've gotten enough out of sort of the platform or the mentorship or the interaction, then you can go ahead and keep it moving. So anyways, those are the little bit of housekeeping items that I want to speak about. Now let's jump into your questions, the questions of the day, the questions that came from individuals like yourself. And if you do have other questions or additional questions, let me just jump into here. I see somebody said, hey, how you doing, Renee? How do you find those other dates? I'm actually going to be putting together a calendar, but for right now, I know I have my, I do have my, what is it called now? The March date. I'm pretty sure I have the March date. If you give me a second, I'll pull it up and I'll let you know exactly what the March date is so that you can put that into your calendar as well. Boom, boom, boom. So the March date, I was actually looking at doing it on. I was actually looking at doing it on the either 28th or 29th. Ideally, I like doing it on Sundays just because it gives us a little bit more leeway, and Sundays are a little bit less busy. But I'm thinking of doing it either the 29th, 28th or 29th. I'll confirm it by the next live stream. So the next live stream Monday, I'll make sure that you guys will know exactly when that is. But it will be definitely the last weekend of March, just because that gives us a little bit of leeway and lead in time. Between the last one that we had just on the 23rd, which is yesterday. Okay, so let's jump into your questions. All right, first things first. Let me see right here. There we go. So, what's your favorite type of photography or videography? Portrait, weddings, or cars, etc. And that's by Kalis. Kalis is a colleague from Instagram, and he wants to know. He wants to know, what is my favorite type of photography or cinematography, and is it weddings? Is it parties? Is it lifestyle branding photography or videography? Is it cars? Is it travel? Is it portrait? I don't know. I'm gonna throw it over to O'Shane. O'Shane,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me just get this camera on you here and give you a chance to talk. O'Shane, can you actually answer that? What is your favorite type of photography or videography that you would like, that you actually like doing as a creator?
Um, I like shooting editorials. Um, and what was the other question?
The other question was really just what's the type of photography you like. That's really the first question. So photography or videography, and why? Why is it that you like editorials versus weddings or portrait or cars or whatever else?
I like editorial photography because I'm able to tell a story with it. I'm able to pick the type of clothes that would go with the story I'm trying to tell, the mood I'm trying to portray. There's so many layers to it. To the makeup, I can dictate what type of makeup I want the subject to wear, depending on what the storyline is. The clothes, the hair, the location, the type of people that I work well with on set that can really bring out the best in me, and I can bring out the best out in them. Um, what else?
Make sure you're looking at the camera.
Yeah, um, yeah. That's pretty much it. I really enjoy portraits, but like to really like dive deep into my creative juices, it's definitely editorial stuff. Um, I don't know. I I would say the same thing. If I let's say if I'm shooting a video of like food, you can still tell a story with doing food videos. However, that's not like my strong suit. So again, it would have to be around like a subject, like a person and their life story or whatever the case is. It's around something that's already happened or a story that I have in mind. I'm trying to portray. I'm just really good at using people and real life stories and just really putting something together.
Okay. All right. All right. That's good. That's very, very good. I think for me, if I was to think about what type of um, photography I like doing, I think for me, oh man, I would have to say it would be probably lifestyle photography. Like I really do like I really do like working with people. I really like working with people, but in specifically like real authentic um, experiences, ways, events, places and times and in spaces that brings out the authenticity in in people's life and people's emotions. So for me, it's like, man, that is that makes me alive. So I guess maybe weddings and portraits. I don't know. I never thought I was going to be a wedding photographer. I still don't look at myself as a wedding photographer. I look at myself as a digital storyteller who happens to tell wedding stories. But in terms of what I love the most, I think, yeah, it would be just lifestyle, and I guess lifestyle would encompass personal brand photography as well as portrait and weddings. So that sort of space. Travel is, I mean, travel's a great thing, but I don't really like taking pictures of like nature. I like taking pictures of myself traveling or others. With regards to photography or with videography, I think for me, it's not, there's not really a particular style. I mean, I guess if I was to say the style that I'm most drawn towards are short form, sort of micro or mini documentary style. So a lot of like again, personal brand type of stories that are high impact but short form. So maybe between the 3 to 5 minute increments, because I think that you can do a lot within that space, and at the same time you can really draw people into a story that maybe from the outskirts they may have thought that wouldn't be interesting to them, but then you shape it and you craft the video and the story in a way that really inspires them and really makes them feel engaged and feel like, you know what, I want to know more about this person or about this thing or about this initiative. So I think those are the two things that really stand out to me. I hope, well, I guess my question to everybody that's watching right now, by the way, if you are enjoying the conversation, please give us a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. And also drop a line, drop any questions that you have in there. But the other thing is, I want to ask you is, do you have any particular style of photography or cinematography that you love? What brought you into the space? What brought you into this digital creative storytelling space? Was it just because you just wanted to try something different, or are you really, really passionate about a specific genre or area of digital storytelling? I would love to know. So let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And with that, we're going to go to the next question. So our next question is a follow-up question by the same person. Is also, what are some of your all-time favorite shoots you have been a part of? What are some of your all-time favorite shoots that you've been a part of? What are some of my all-time favorite shoots? I'm again going to defer to O'Shane right now. I think that it's important for him to speak first, so that at least I can gather my thoughts a bit, because I haven't really thought about it a lot. But there are a few shoots that come right off the bat that come to mind. But O'Shane, what are your thoughts?
My all time favorite shoots. I feel like I haven't even shot my favorite shots yet. But I'll go back to praise and worship. Going the Distance was an editorial I shot 2 years ago. That's one of my favorite editorials I've shot. Drum Ball, definitely. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. Yeah. How about you?
For me, I think for me personally, you know, I really, really love. There was a project that I did last year with Munaluchi Bride, and Munaluchi Bride is, for those of you that don't know what Munaluchi Bride is, it is a bridal publication that is located within New Jersey, America, and they called me to film their winter cover shoot last year in LA, and I honestly had never done a cover shoot before. I was like super nervous. I didn't know what things were gonna look like. I didn't know how I was gonna light everything, because I couldn't bring my lights. Like, I was trying to be as conservative as possible in terms of the amount of gear I was gonna bring. And honestly, O'Shane, I was like, I filmed, and I was filming, and I was, trying different techniques, and I was using the natural lighting that was in the room, and I was using the practical lighting that they had in the room as well. And the photographers had like a really giant diffused sort of flash that had an LED light in it to illuminate the subject a little bit better. And I just started to film, and I tried things out, and honestly, it was one of my favorite shoots because it ended up being one of those shoots that looks so polished and looks so commercially sound that I finally realized that I was really doing something. Like I could actually produce a high level of work. But a part of that too was it was the environment that I was in, and it was also the creatives I was working around. And that's something that I really want to kind of push forth as well, is like any of the really really great shoots that you ever get a chance to be a part of, 9 times to probably 10 times out of 10, it's because of the people and the team that you're surrounding yourself with. It's never just of your doing alone. You can never ever create a shoot that's going to be, so amazing to the point where, you can say you did it on your own without a good team, without a strong team. So a big sort of encouragement and a part of this whole discussion is really to always remember that you're only as good as your team. And if you don't have a strong team, if you don't have a strong sort of creative direction, if you don't have a great wardrobe person, a hair person, makeup person, then it doesn't matter how good your work is, or how good you think you can get your work done if you don't have other components, other people working with you to get it done. So yeah, for me, I think it was that winter cover shoot that was one of my best work. And then I just recently did another cover shoot with Muna Lucci Bride, which was in September, and I did some video work there, and that was really really dope work. I feel like that was some of my strongest work. My favorite shoot, I think, of last year was definitely the streams video shoot, because that really encompassed all of my skill, from selection of music to interviewing to color correction to slow-mo manipulation to integrating a well-crafted story, all of those things. So those are some of the things that have kind of inspired me and have really let me look at my work and say, you know what, I'm actually doing something good here. And those are some of my favorite pieces of work. Now that being said, I'm just going to jump over here. Now that being said, do you have any questions for us, either for myself or O'Shane? And let us know if you do have any questions. We'll put it up on the screen and we will answer it live for you. So I'm just going to check in the conversations here. Okay, so we have a question here from Special Sepia Pictures. I have a question. Do you or can you say something about BRoll? What is it, and how do you use it somewhere else? Okay, good. So BRoll. The best way I can describe BRoll is, if A-roll is talking heads, people talking and speaking into the camera and saying, this is the program that I built, this is the product that I use, this is how you use it, you should love this product and buy it from me. B-roll are all of the supporting visuals, so video clips that you capture as a digital storyteller that support the A-roll of the person talking. So if you have a person talking about, I use Canon cameras, and I love to use Canon cameras because they help me to tell stories amazing, and they allow me to get great skin tones. And I love taking pictures with Canon cameras because it's easy and it's really cool to understand and whatever else, right? Let's just say that's the script. Well, now that's our A-roll. That's Tristan talking to the camera, talking about how much he loves Canon cameras. I don't love Canon cameras. but we're just saying fictionally if I did. Then you would get B-roll. Now, B-roll footage is basically now taking video of me with a Canon camera, taking pictures with a Canon camera, taking video with a Canon camera, walking with a Canon camera, picking up the Canon camera, having the Canon camera sit down there, with a light and maybe shooting it in creative ways, having me with other people talking about Canon cameras. That's all supporting footage that we call B-roll. And that supports the narrative that you're building as a storyteller, right? You have your main narrative, which is why I love Canon cameras as a digital storytelling tool. And then you have the supporting footage, the B-roll, that supports the main narrative that you've built. I hope that answers your question. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Sepia? Let me know. Are there any other questions? Oh, Shane, do you have a question?
Why did you choose to pick up a camera? This is not for you, it's for the audience.
Say that one more time.
Why did you choose to pick up a camera? Like, out of everything in the world that you could be, you could have been a doctor, you could have been a lawyer, it doesn't matter what it is. There's so many job titles to say, but why in particular did you choose to be a creative?
That's good. That's good. That's very good. That's very good. Why did you choose to be a creative? That's a great question. Why did you choose to be a creative? Was there anything in particular that has drawn you to this particular genre, this particular area of creativity of the digital arts? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let's see what else is happening in these streets, in these comment streets. Let's see what's going on. Let's switch this. All right. So we have Chanel Vines. Are there any tips to take interesting shots of someone just speaking into a camera, for example, interview? Rule of third tips you just gave was fire. Oh, thank you. Oh, perfect. So I guess, you know what? That's a great question. So when you are interviewing somebody, one of the biggest things that I see all the time is, or I hear all the time is, how do I make it interesting, right? How do I make talking heads interesting? I love eating ice cream, and when I eat ice cream, it makes me feel so good, and I love to eat ice cream all the time. Right? So it's like a boring topic. It's a boring person talking. The only way, or the best way, that I could actually encourage you or inspire you to make talking head video more interesting is by throwing in as much B-roll as possible. Think of it this way: if you were baking a turkey or cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving, what are some of the things that you do to make the turkey tasty or more juicy? You add in extra seasoning, you add in stuffing, you add in butter underneath the skin, you inject it with flavor, you make it soak in all of these different chives and herbs and all these spices, because you don't want it, number one, to dry out, but then number two, to taste bland. And talking heads, unfortunately, are bland. They're very, very bland. Talking head videos are probably the most bland types of videos that we as creatives have to do, but we do a lot of it, and you can make a lot of money off of talking head videos. That's just the reality of it, right? If you're really good at it, you could make anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000 per video. If you're okay at it or just starting at it, maybe it's a couple $100s. If you're mediocre or not mediocre, but like you're like not super high end, but you're not super low end, you could be easily making $2,500 to $3,000 for a talking head video, right? So you can make a lot of money off of it and really run your business off of it. But the way that I always describe it to people is, you as the creative have to add that spice. The way that you do it, in my opinion, is by number one, if you can, shooting with two camera angles. Two camera angles will save you all the time. If you're not shooting, especially if you don't have 4K cameras. Now 4K cameras kind of can save you and bail you out as well, because what 4K cameras do is you can always crop in, and you can always do your editing by shooting wide and then cropping into close or a medium shot, so you can kind of simulate having two angles or two shots. But what I would say is, if you do have the ability to have two camera angles, have one that's a little bit wide or medium shot, and then you have a closer side angle shot, or another tighter, closer shot that's more of a bust. So it's more from the shoulders to the top of the head. That will give you the leeway to have flexibility when, not even if, but when the talent makes mistakes, because the talent will make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, you don't want to make them feel bad and say, oh, you got to start over. You know that you have a second camera angle you can cut to do a hard cut to them continuing on as if they were talking without any mistakes at all. That's number one. Tip number two is you got to shoot a whole lot of B-roll. B-roll, 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 supporting footage, B-roll, more B-roll, more B-roll, and even more B-roll is going to be your lifesaver. It's going to be your life support. It's going to be that thing that distinguishes you from you and so many other people, because there's so many other people that just don't care and don't take that extra step to just add that little bit of care, right? To say, you know what? Yeah, I could just do a talking head video, but now I'm going to add in a little bit of B-roll. Maybe I'm going to add in a drone shot. Maybe I'm going to add in an interesting shot of the product that the person was talking about. And it doesn't have to be on a gimbal, right? It's just well lit, well composed, well shot. So those are some of my tips there. Let me know if that helps you at all, because I think that it's important. It's important to talk about some of these things. What are some of the other questions here? Okay, we got sepia pictures. They say, I start with lots of places, cars, and portraits. Last places, and very interesting. Cars, my brother is a mechanic for mechanic for cars. Okay, I got what you're saying. Okay, so this is back to your original question, Sepia, where you were talking about, where you're asking, what are some of your favorite things, right? Like, what are some of the different favorite genres that you want to be a part of? So for you, it's cars, it's places, then it's cars, and then it's portraits. So that's sort of the hierarchy that Sepia was saying. They're saying, you know what? I love doing travel photography or travel shots. Then I love doing cars. Then I love doing portraits. So that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad that you communicated that. That's really awesome. Any other questions at all before we wrap up? We got a few more minutes. I would love to answer any other questions. And please make sure that you share, you give us a thumbs up, but you also share and like and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing a lot more of these. I'm also going to be jumping over later on tonight onto Facebook as well, and having a fireside chat on Facebook. But let us know if you have any other questions. I would love to answer any of the questions for you, dealing with specifically with photography or cinematography. We are here. Oh, Shane, do you have any other questions for the group?
No, that's pretty much it.
Jump up there. Look into the camera there. There you go. All right. So, if that's the case, if you guys don't have any other questions, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Like I said, every single Monday at 7:30, 7:35 Jamaica time. No, I'm joking, not Jamaica time. It's 7:35 Eastern Standard Time. We come online and we have conversations in and around the digital storytelling, photography, cinematography, range and world, any sort of topics that have to deal with that. So if you want to talk about cameras, you want to talk about gear, you want to talk about your approach to a shoot, you want to pick my brain about creative ideas, concepts, anything like that, I am super down and super open for you. And that's what this forum is for, and that's what this group's about. It's all about digital storytelling, and it's all about whatever you want to talk about on Monday live stream. So with that, I think I got one other question here. What's your favorite program for photo editing? Let me tell you something. Hey, Jodianne. How are you doing, Jodianne? I see you. Jodianne Beckford. She is one of the dopest photographers in Toronto, Canada. And for those of you that don't know, she is actually the owner operator of Joni Ann Beckford Photography, as well as the creative that started the project, the Epiphany project. So she is amazing. So if you ever get a chance to look at her work, definitely check it out. O'Shane and I have known her for quite some time, and she's an amazing person. But I want to answer your question. What's my favorite photography editing program? Let me tell you something. The one I use the most is probably Lightroom. The one that I love the most right now is, oh my gosh, Luminar 4. Luminar 4, I did my photos in Luminar 4. I think, let me open up Luminar so I can show you. I'm going to share my screen with you. Do you guys want to see my screen? Do you guys want to see what Luminar looks like? So then I can show you what it can do, because it's it's amazing program. So let me just share my screen here. I'm going to share my screen here. So this is Luminar. Okay. So Luminar, can you guys see? Let me know if you guys can see. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up or a like or whatever else if you can see. So this is Luminar. Luminar is like think of it as a Photoshop, a really smart automated Photoshop slash Lightroom. It's a mixture of kind of both. So I'm going to show you a few different photos here. So this is a photo I did. I took in Luminar, or I took in Jamaica a few weeks ago. And one of the things that this photo lacks, although it looks really nice, and I love the expression of the couple, and I love how they're looking at each other. There's a little bit of, what do you call it? Chroma aberrant, whatever. You know, those the green lines that show up because your camera sensor, your lens is not working exactly the way it should be. And a lot of times this happens just because it may be a cheaper lens. There's a lot of this sort of like distortion and oversaturation of the greens. It's fine. That happens sometimes. But I digress. What I wanted to say was I was shooting this shot in and around a cliff and in golden hour in Jamaica. And one of the things that you would know about Jamaica, pretty much any time that you're shooting in Jamaica, it's very humid, very hot, and it's very bright at golden hour, obviously because the sun's going down. But we want to get a golden hour shot, and we want to get it at this cliff. The problem was that I wasn't shooting with a flash, so I had to overexpose this background and see how washed this background is in order to get them properly exposed. So those are some of the compromises that you have to make as a creative. Do I want to underexpose the talent, but be able to capture some of the details in the brightest parts of my frame? Or do I want to wash out my frame and I want to focus in on this expression and all the detail that's around my couple, right? So those are just normal questions and decisions that you have to make. Now with Luminar, the thing that I love about Luminar, I'm not going to go into all the editing aspects of things, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go into replacing the sky. What do you mean by replacing the sky, Tristan? I'm going to show you a magic trick. I'm going to replace the sky using Luminar, and you guys are going to be oh and ah and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm telling you. And if it's not, if it's not amazing, you can remove your likes from this live stream, but I'm telling you, you're going to be amazed. So in Luminar, you can go under the creative tab or the create tab, and there's a AI sky replacement area. When you click on that, you can actually click on these sky selection. So right here, you have a drop down menu of a whole bunch of different skies that you can put in, and you can also load in your own custom skies. But for now, I'm going to go to sunset 1. I'm going to click on that. And voila. I have just replaced the sky. Oh my God. It looks good. Well, it looks kind of fake because you know how it looked before, right? It looked like this before, right? It was like totally empty. And now we put a sky in. I don't really like the blue. I really like this sort of golden hour look. So I want to keep that sort of look. So let me jump into sunset number 2. Here's sunset number 2. That's getting a little bit closer to what we want, the lighting that we want to match, right? in this picture, but it's still not all the way there. So let's go to sunset number 3. Okay. I think we're how do you feel about sunset number 3? I feel like sunset number 3 matches sort of the lighting, right? The lighting is coming from over the groom's shoulder, and then it's giving this sort of rim lighting, and it matches the bride and the groom. Now, if we zoom in close enough, it actually doesn't look that bad. Like this part of his head doesn't exactly. I may have to kind of erase the mask here and bring the back of his head. But for the most part, it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? Was that not magic? Was that not magic? Come on now. You guys should put up another thumbs up if you guys like that. I know you guys like that. And this was done in a matter of 30 seconds, 40 seconds. We replaced the sky. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add in a photo. I'm going to add in a photo. Who wants me to edit a photo really quickly so I can show you sort of the AI capabilities of it? If you want me to add in or edit a photo really quickly, just type in yes or yes or give me a thumbs up so I know that you guys are still there. I know you guys are there. I see you guys watching. So I'm gonna just I'm just gonna jump back into the full screen camera mode for a minute, and I'm gonna pick out a new picture really quickly. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, Scipia. It's really cool to see how dope this program is. It's really easy to use. That's the thing I really like the most, is that it's really easy to use. So I'm gonna take one of these pictures. I'm gonna jump back into. I'm just gonna take one of these pictures. I literally just am selecting a picture from the shoot that we did yesterday, the photo walk. So this is a picture of Stephanie. I just drug it into the program here. This was shot at. Let me see if I can get information about it. This was shot at 1.4 f1.4 at an iOS or ISO of 100, and it was a 50 millimeter, and the shutter speed was 1/800. So that was sort of the settings to get this shot. And already, I was using a little bit of a filter. She has a little stuff on her teeth here that we can get rid of. Her skin, she did her makeup pretty well, so we don't have to do much for her skin. And then we have this nice sort of hedge, and I framed it this way because I wanted to build that sort of depth using this hedge wall, so that your eye was drawn to sort of her expression. Okay, so I'm gonna jump to the edit tab, and I'm gonna go under the first things first. I'm gonna go under my my essentials. So your essentials has like lighting and structure and color and whatever else. I'm just going to go under the advanced area, and I always like working with curves first when it comes to my photos, because I like to soften up my blacks a bit. So I'm gonna just add a couple of points, and I'm gonna take my point at the bottom here. I'm gonna drag it up until my blacks are kind of a little washed. Now it might be a little too crushed for your taste. I'm gonna leave it here because I'm gonna also then go back up to my exposure, and I'm gonna bring up the brightness of the shot here. Okay, and I may play around with my black a bit, but I kind of like my blacks to be a little more filmic. I'm just gonna bring down my black here. So I like it already. This is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. So I already have a little bit more of a filmic curve. Can you guys see the difference? You guys see what I just did there? I just literally just used this curve, and I just brought up my blacks a bit so that they're a little bit more softer. They have a little more of a softer roll off instead of it being really contrasty. Okay. Bring up my whites a little bit, just slightly, so I have a little bit more of a contrast here. The other thing that I'm going to do is, I feel like this picture as a whole is a little bit cool, on the cooler side. So I'm going to actually go to my temperature. I'm going to warm it up. And look at that. Woo, girl, child. Look how she look. She already looks so good. So already it's getting to a place where I want it to be. I might use a little bit of this smart contrast. What the smart contrast does, it reads the whole, the program reads the whole picture, and then it tries to add contrast where contrast is needed and not over the whole picture. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this smart contrast because I don't mind this area of my picture to be blown out because I'm not really looking at that. I'm really trying to focus in on Stephanie, right? So I feel like it's at a nice place, but I want to do some things, get some of these blemishes off of her face and do a little bit of retouching. Now, how many people know how to do retouching? I know how to do it kind of, but I'm not really a great retoucher. So one of the things that I like doing, instead of spending hours and hours of retouching, I like using Luminar because Luminar does pretty good retouching. So I'm going to go to this face icon here. And let me know if you guys are getting anything out of this, if you guys are liking this. This is a new thing I'm doing. I'm just doing a live tutorial right now just because you guys want me to do it. So that's what's up. So under this portrait area, we have a few different options. We have AI skin enhancement. We have portrait enhancement. We have high key. And we have Orton. I can't really see. Yeah, Orton effects. I don't really know what that is, but we'll try it out anyways. So I'm going to zoom out. Oops. Double click on this again. I'll zoom out of the picture and I'm going to go to the AI skin enhancer. And basically what this does is it does the retouching for you automatically. Yes, I said that. Automatically. So check this out, okay? I'm going to go about halfway and I'm going to zoom in. And I don't know if you saw what it did, but it really kind of touched up her face. I'm going to turn it off. So that's it without any AF. This is it with AF. So you can see that her face is already touched up. I'm going to go all the way over so you can see how much it can do and how smart it can be. You see what it did there? So I'll turn it off, turn it back on. Turn it off, turn it back on. Now the big thing about it is that it doesn't take away the pores, right? Her pores are still there. Right? We also see the sharpness of her face. Okay? We still see all the things that we need to see. We didn't have to spend, 50 hours or 15 hours or 10 hours or whatever else on retouching. Thank you, Jesus. Can I get an amen? So now that we have that done, we can also use, like for larger blemishes, so like bumps and stuff like that, you can just check off AI skin defect removal, so it'll look through all of the skin tones and see if there's anything that's really, really glaring, and it'll try and patch that up. Now let's try and fix some of her teeth and whiten her teeth a little bit. So we're going to go under Portrait Enhancer. So there's a few different things you can do with Portrait Enhancer. For instance, if you didn't have a fill light, I was just using natural light, and maybe I want to fill in her face a little bit more with the artificial light. All I have to use is this face light, and I'm going to like overdo it. So I'm going to like, I can add as much or as little as I want. I'm just going to bring this down a bit, and I just added a little bit more of a catch light to her face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to teeth whitening, which is down at the bottom, and I'm just going to go and bring this all the way and see what it does. So that's what it was before, and then this just whitens it up a little bit more. Now, I may, depending on how, what's on the teeth. So there was a little bit of her lipstick on her teeth. So I may have to go into Photoshop or send this to Photoshop, do some retouching, minor retouching there. But when you think about it, oh, okay, cool. Have a nice day too, Scipia. Thank you so much. But when you think about the time that you saved in terms of not having to retouch her face, then, retouching a little bit of her teeth is not a big deal. So again, there's teeth whitening. If you wanted to, let's say for instance, she's like, oh, I don't feel like I look my best or whatever else. You can also slim her face down or slim the talent's face down. So I'm going to go extreme and just go all the way, right? And I'm just going to turn this off. So that's before, that's after. You can slim her face down. You can maybe just slim it down just a little bit. You can also enlarge ears. You can enlarge the eyebrows and all the other stuff, which I'm not going to get into. You can also add more saturation or redness to the lips. Right? Right? You can make your lips pop a bit more. So all of these things are things that you can do within Luminar. What else am I missing? Oh, the other thing that I would do, like just for myself, because I really like, I have a particular style and I really like it, is I would go to color, and under color I would add a little bit of vibrance, not too much, just enough, and then I would go under this sort of creative tab, and I would go under film grain, because I would love to add film grain to, and film grain just it's almost like adding a little bit of an old school treatment to it. Like I grew up, when cameras had film and there was different film stock for different types of aesthetics that you wanted. So that's sort of what I'm going for with this, is I want to have kind of an old school aesthetic. Right? There we go. And this is the setup here. So anyways, you can do a ton of things with Luminar. If you want more questions or have more questions about Luminar, please let me know what your questions are at tristanbarrocks.ca /questions. tristanbarrocks.ca/questions. And I would love to answer those questions for you. But we're over our time now. Thank you so much for joining me for another Live Stream Monday. I hope you'll join me for next week's Live Stream Mondays, and we'll answer more questions for you. If you like what you watched, please give me a thumbs up. If you love the content that I'm creating, please consider subscribing, as well as consider submitting one of your questions as well, because I think it'd be great to hear and to answer some of your questions as they come through. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Stay positive. And yes, O'Shane, you want to say anything to the people?
Keep on creating.
Awesome. O'Shane, keep on creating. And that's what I want to say to you. Keep on creating. Stay blessed. Peace.